fresh off a work day. It is 70 something degrees outside. I got my neighbor wondering what I'm doing. He's the guy that always complains about me to the other neighbors. But guess what I'm doing today, dude? Putting a turbo manifold on my CRX so you can just buzz off. I'm scared of confrontation. I like to yell things and then shut the door behind me. That way they know, I'm safe in my home. I forgot the bolts. There's bolts in the back of the car. I forgot them. Hopefully he's not waiting out there with a chainsaw. So here, let me clean this up. Make it look presentable. Here's what we got. I have a Turbonetics. I don't have any idea what size this is. It's seen better days, but hopefully it'll stay together. There's a crack in the turbine housing too. Where's that at? See if I can find it. It's in there. There's a split in the turbine housing we found, but I don't care. I'm gonna let it eat. And then this unit right here. So it's insane to me that a ram horn style manifold is as cheap as it is today, because when I was in the Honda game, this manifold would have been, well over $1,000. 1320 headers, I guess is the name. I don't know. The same company that provided me that, I say provided, eBay provided it when I purchased it. That same company also made this header that was on the car. And honestly, for the price, I can't really complain. But, so, they call this the AC manifold. There's AC compatible T3 flange jewel right here, T3 gasket. And I'm guessing they cock the turbo sideways like that to clear what they would expect to be a condenser in the front of the car. So, you're gonna see me live trying to fit this thing for the first time. But first, I gotta bolt the turbo to the manifold, which is cool because they actually give you this stud kit, which is pretty convenient in terms of, rather than a bolt and a nut, having a stud set up where you can lock tight the threads into the receptacle. So you see they're threaded. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lock tight these in. That way they will not back out. The only problem is there's one bolt on the turbo. Come on! That she's gonna be, I want to know what acrobatic situation took place to get this thing in there. Come on, man. Let's go, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Blah, blah, blah. It looks like he's got a booger. A little booger Kalis. Use the old tried and true Hitachi. And then use a nice dirty rag to make sure you don't get any debris, which is the French pronunciation of debris. And then you just kind of... Can you imagine if I didn't wear my safety goggles? All right. I'm a real technician. I just used it. Oh, it's hot. It's spicy. It's a spicy tuna. Or a spicy tuna, depending on what part of the region you're from. Okay, so your stud kit, obviously this will thread into the manifold itself. Before you thread it in, what you gotta do is you gotta grab your old Loctite, little thread locker blue on the tips of the threads there. And I'm gonna let's just get wild with it. Woo, it's like pouring shots in Vegas. Everybody stand up. The last time I went to Las Vegas, I was physically removed from a marshmallow. I think the DJ's name is Marshmallow Man. Marshmallow, guy with a big marshmallow on his head. Physically removed. And then they took a Polaroid of me when I went to leave. Honestly, I deserved to get kicked out, so I'm not even arguing that. But they went to take a picture of me. They're like, let me get a picture. And I was like, you're not taking a picture. And they just got me in the middle of me yelling at the bouncer that was 12 times my size. So whatever club he played, SEMA 2 years ago, if you could give me that picture, I'd love to see how I look. So stud kit's in, gasket's on. I can't do this with one hand, and I don't have the finances to afford a helmet camera from GoPro. So I'm gonna bolt the turbocharger up to this using the supplied. I'm kind of pissed. They only gave me 2/3 of a washer. I'm sure for fitment reasons, but like, if I'm gonna submit a claim and be like, yo, where the hell's the rest of my damn washer? It's pretty shady, guys. How dare you? And it looks like I cut this thing, which is not a compliment. Yeah, it looks great until you realize it's not bolted up all the way. And you're like, oh, why, dude? What happened, Logan? What did you not think of that caused this to happen? Well, if you go to the starboard side, you'll see that my T1 trigger kit doesn't allow it to bolt all the way up. So I'm gonna have to rectify that before I move forward. I should be able to shave the head of this bolt down, and then maybe also take some off this bracket itself, and then get it to mount flush. The other thing that's a little concerning is downpipe. So downpipe's gonna be interesting because it's gonna have to take a hard cock left turn and to come down and clear. Try rotating the turbo around and it's not gonna vibe. It's gonna hit the manifold with the compressor housing. So a little bit of work to do, but I should be able to shave that down and get this thing to mount flush. Okay, so I had to take a ton of material off, you can see, and I'll have to recoat that thing, but I literally had to take about a 1/2 inch off to get the manifold to sit. The AN bungs that I have JB welded in place, they're gonna hit as well, so I'll have to offset those with the new valve cover when I replace this wonderfully painted one. And then the next thing to do is, you see that stripped out feed fitting down there. I'll have to replace that, obviously, but I will also need to cock the center section upwards so that the feed is straight up and then the drain is straight down to go to pan. So the hard part's over. That was a pain in the ass, but now I can pull the manifold off, clock the turbo appropriately clock your tear. Yeah. Also, if we could kill like man, you better slap a Himalayan humdinger on that thing, or a Nagasaki nude photos of me on a beach at an old age with saggy man boobs. Which is probably just venting there, aren't I? When you clock your turbo, you have all these retention, like plates rather. I don't know why I said rather, I didn't give you two options, but these retention clamps, plates, whatever you want to call them, those units need to be all loose, so all these bolts need to loosen up. You still might have some trouble fighting it, especially a turbo like this that's been on a car and has been used and has oxidized and rusted up. There's going to be a little bit of hesitation for it to spin. So you can always hit it with a little WD-40 or pull the whole hot side apart and then sand out the inside of it, get any oxidation or oil residue buildup, anything like that out of the equation so you can freely rotate it and clock the fitting in the position that you need. So what I'm gonna do is put the phone down for a second, camera, whatever you wanna call it, and lube her up and cock her down, which is the next t-shirt. The lube her up and cock her down, baby. Woo! Clapdown.com trademark. So another thing to note on turbo feed, so this is the fitting that was in there. It looks like 8th NPT, but not all fittings are gonna be the same for turbos. My hunch is this is a ball bearing turbo. What's weird is it's not oil and water cooled, and so I can't really tell, obviously, without taking it apart. I have no idea how to, rather. I'm a novice. But the reason I'm guessing it's ball bearing is because the feed fitting, if you look in, has a restrictor built into it. So like companies like ATP, Garrett, they sell these fittings and they're much like nitrous jets. They only allow X amount of oil in. Ball bearing turbos require less oil than a journal bearing turbo. At any rate, I'll have to figure out what orifice size that is and replace it because obviously the threads are no longer existent on that. The other thing I'm gonna do is on the drain, I'm gonna take out that barbed fitting and I'm gonna go to just a standard 10 AN hose end fitting instead. And that way we'll have a nice oil drain instead of this slip fit junker. There it is. So bracket is hideous. I have to clean that up. Valve cover is hideous, but that's going away anyway. You can see the oil feed right there. This iPhone sucks for zooming, but we have a perpendicular situation with the floor with oil feed. I have just enough clearance for the slave cylinder, the cable drive slave cylinder situation, which I really honestly didn't even think about that. And now next step is cocking this, the compressor housing, so we can properly set up intercooler piping and its routing. The other thing to keep in mind too with intercooler pipe routing is wastegate, because the wastegate, let me see, so that's where all the steam is going to be coming out. This sucker got hot. So wastegate will end up, oh my God, it's hold on. Okay, oh, there's so much room for activity. So just everybody bear with me. You okay? And one of my last concerns, so I got the wastegate rough bolted up. I got the turbo cocked how I think we're gonna wanna go. But the last thing is radiator. So I've cut these holes in the front core support, just opened them up so I can have intercooler pass-through to come up nice and clean, because I do not wanna go through a frame rail and make it all, I don't know, just lame. So the problem there is it limits my radiator space. I think my tentative plan is gonna be to find a radiator that will fit basically the same width and length as the intercooler, and then comes down to where you're gonna place your fans. So I'm thinking I'll do a single 10 or 12 on each side, depending on what fits, and hopefully be able to get a shroud in there too, to keep this thing cool, because this thing is gonna get hot, and it's not good for keeping it cool. That's how that works. Whoo! That's the sound of my blood pressure dropping through the floor. I'm gonna eat some dinner. I'm gonna decompress, and then I'm gonna figure out how the F and F I'm gonna fit an mother effing radiator in this mother effing EF. Bang! Bang! Never mind. I had a whole bid plan for the bathtub. I was really into man, I could really do some physical comedy. And now I'm literally, my heel is dug in and I'm jack stuck in here. And Jasmine went to get dinner. So I didn't plan this bid out at all. Ooh, sorry, I had to run out of there. I was feeling whipped, but before the end of this episode, I want to let everybody know I'm going to try to go 5 for 5 this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 videos, 5 days. I'm going to try my ass off to get it done. Parts have to roll in for me to be able to make the videos. So I'm hoping that I'll have the coil unplug stuff tomorrow to finish that job up. And then I can start on fuel tech wiring and so on and so forth. However, you'll see I get home from work around 5 p.m. This video is posted. What time is it right now? 6:40 p.m. on Monday. So I'm hoping this video goes live around 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And the reason I share that information is because if you are a giant, massive, overbearing attention whore like myself, this is the best thing in the world for you. Grab your phone. It's more than likely an iPhone or something if you're watching YouTube. Grab your phone, your Android, your iPhone, if it's got a good camera, even if it has a crappy camera, start filming yourself doing installs, start filming yourself doing work in the garage, and start a vlog channel and just have fun with it. A lot of people don't like to share that for some reason and put people off from doing their own channel. I want everyone to have their own channel. I think it's fun, it's exciting, and it breaks up the monotony of the day. So, clapped.com/store. There's probably like 2 or 3 t-shirts left and maybe a sticker or 3. Head over there if you want. If you don't want to, I don't blame you. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Logan, and I'm out!